Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive pop with Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance blog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Bobby.
Hey guys, it's Tim Wood from Alliance Gold and Alliance Wrestling's The Other Alliance Guys, asking you to support us, alliance-wrestling.com, and the Alliance family, as we ask William P. Corrigan and the National Wrestling Alliance to restore the NWA Hall of Fame. You know, the Hall of Fame has inducted some of wrestling's greatest personalities. The honored include legends of the sport like Lou Thesz, Harley Race, Sam Muchnick, Dory Funk Sr., Jr., and Terry Funk, Gordon Solie, Ric Flair, Buddy Rogers, Dusty Rhodes, Wahoo McDaniel, Ricky Dozan, Ricky Steamboat, Bobo Brazil, Jim Ross. There's a number of great names on that list. But since 2017, the NWA Hall of Fame has lain dormant, meaning there's no inductees during the Lightning One era. We know that the NWA of today stands for history, legacy, and tradition. Mr. William Patrick Corrigan and the management, staff, and talent of the NWA carry the torch of professional wrestling's oldest organization, which was originally established back in 1948. As the flag bearers of wrestling history, they've done an admirable job in keeping the tradition alive through the fabulous programs, pay-per-views, and events over the last several years. We love this company, both for what it's meant in wrestling's past and what it means for wrestling's future, and we want to see its legends honored. It's with this supportive attitude that we, the fans and supporters and cheerleaders of the NWA, ask Mr. Corrigan and the NWA to restore the National Wrestling Alliance Hall of Fame to prominence. What would be a greater side attraction to the NWA's 76th anniversary show in 2024 than honoring the greatest of yesteryear once more? The Alliance Wrestling family, established in 2005 and perhaps the most ardent group of NWA supporters today, is proud to lead this petition to cheer our friends on in the National Wrestling Alliance towards restoring the hall, where history lives and legends are born.
They want NWA? Let's give them NWA.
Who are those guys?
And then there's the other guys.
We're the other guys. We're the guys nobody ever bets on.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
It's time for the Other Alliance Guys podcast with your hosts, Tim, Dave, and Jeremy.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and what can we tell you? It's the Other Alliance Guys, a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information around the National Wrestling Alliance, the United Wrestling Network, and various independents around the world. My name's Tim. I am joined by the fantasy booker extraordinaire right now, Mr. Dave Scooby. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Looking forward to NWA Samhain?
Yes, I am. I'm hoping that they're able to put on a good, strong 8 to 10 matches that actually mean something with the quote unquote new era of EC3 as champion. So we'll see where they go from here.
Absolutely. And we are joined as if on cue, as if by design. Championship Wrestling from Jeremy. How are you, my friend?
I have arrived, gentlemen. I am here to preach the word of the UWN and all of its affiliates.
Well done. Well done. Well done. You got a career. You got a career on the pulpit, my friend.
Oh, no. Oh, no. That thing will catch fire.
We got lots of guys in the chat right now. NWA. Devin Dowling's here. Double D. Thanks for being here. The boss is here. Everyone look busy. AJ. Mike needs the link in the chat if I don't know. I gotta try to grab it in a little bit for the petition.
I can post it in there.
Willie's got some thoughts about the Hall of Fame. Mildred Burke, Laura and Debbie Coombs, Alani Kai, Misty Blue Sins, Linda Dallas, Mad Dog. Debbie should be in the Hall of Fame. Not a single one of those names in the Hall of Fame. I have not done the research. I just have had the busiest 2 weeks of my professional career. I haven't done the research, but I don't think Barry Windham's in the NWA Hall of Fame. I don't think Arn Anderson's in the NWA Hall of Fame. Tully is, but I don't think the Horsemen aren't. I don't know, guys. So it's a bit crazy.
That's not right.
It's nuts. We'll talk about it. Mike says, Jeremy, you may need to preach the UWA needing financial support. Yeah, we'll talk about that too a little bit. As much as we care to speculate on that type of thing, we do know that Ivan Koloff's not in it. There you go. Blue Demon Jr. not in it, buddy. We'll get to that in a sec. Did I get everybody who was here? I tried to blast Mike out of his boots with the music nice and loud right off the bat there. Jay says back then it was only talent who was available. Okay, so listen, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Hall of Fame. That's for me.
Media Mike, I'm going to DM you the link for the petition because it won't let me post it in the comments. It's too long.
That perfect. I don't know if that means Arn is or Arn isn't. Let me know which one you meant. He's not. I guess he's saying was a WW employee at the time. That shouldn't matter. Anyway. Yeah, I really want to talk about the Hall of Fame, but I'm going to save it for a minute. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about power a little bit. Jeremy's going to touch about on the UWN, and we've had some weird vibes coming out of there, financially speaking, for a little while now. And Dave's going to fantasy anchor this show by suggesting who Pretty Empowered should face at Samhain in the end of October. Let's talk about power first, guys, and you guys in the chat too. What do you guys think of the Power reboot so far? I mean, like Dave, it has been visually different for a few weeks now, and they've made some major changes. What do you think of it since the reboot?
It's growing on me. The way they're doing it with the pre-recorded entries of the opponents and the wrestlers, plus Kyle doing a voiceover rather than him being on camera, it makes when he is on camera even more special, in my opinion, at least. I really don't have a problem with it. It's just they're changing things up, hopefully for the better. But I mean, like I say, I have no dog in the race. Billy's going to do what Billy wants to do, and the people around him, hopefully they're saying yes and no to things that Billy comes up with, and not just pacifying him. That if there's something that really shouldn't be done, voice their opinion. But I mean, I really don't have a problem with it. It's just everything changes.
It's just par for the course for you? Do you think it's just kind of superficial? It's not, it's not gonna, it is what it is?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw, but Billy is now, quote unquote, the actual man of the house, and is now married. He's a married man, so hopefully he chills out a little. And
I think they've been together like 12 years. Okay. He's got 2 kids.
It's a piece of paper, but it's official, so who knows?
Well, yeah.
It's one of these things of we'll see how things go up until the next pay-per-view, and we'll just see. It's hurry up and wait.
No, interesting. Well, I know certainly our best to Mr. Corgan and his longtime partner, and now his wife. That's nice for him. Jeremy, what'd you think of the reboot so far compared to what was before? What you're seeing the last few weeks? Are you digging it? Or are you not digging it? What do you think?
Overall, I'm enjoying it. I'm still not big on the pre-recorded entrances for them,
Yeah.
but I like that they do have entrances and entrance music now.
Mm-hmm.
I like the voiceover that we get. To echo what Dave said, whenever we do get to see Joe or we do get to see Kyle, it's a little more special. But I like the voiceover where we're kind of getting a tale of the tape of what led up to this match and who's in it and everything. It makes it approachable and for the casual fan, for somebody that's just coming into it, this is who it is, this is who they're facing, this is why it's happening, here's the match. I like that. So like I said, overall I'm
Go ahead. I cut you off. Finish it up.
Oh no, I was just going to say overall, I'm enjoying it. It's different.
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying, Dave. Like I'm with Jeremy. I'm enjoying it. It's different. It's a step up. But I think I see what you're saying, and it's like the new package and around the toy, and is the toy going to change inside the box, right? Like it's I kind of wonder if it matters right now for anything more than maybe what it's designed for is which would be getting a new like the new era look on the product. Hey, we've rebranded. Can we get more of these people? Can we go a different way away from the the Fox News crowd? And I don't know. I like it too. I don't know. I do not like those entrances either. I'll pull this the chat stuff up here in a second. It's weird. It's weird to me. Hopefully they'll see it now, like as it comes through after this set of tapings, and go, okay, well, maybe we can do those live. But you are getting a few matches on every show. It does save on time. There is that. It does seem a little more fast paced. Let me see what we got here. Devin had said 2024 is coming soon. Dustin Rhodes is retiring at the end of 2023. Can we get him in a match at an NWA ring? Wouldn't that be nice? I would like to see that. James Bell has got 4 tickets for Sawin. He'll give up, no charge to anyone who's going. I think you'll be getting some DMs directly after this comes out. Willie Bowen says the Road Warriors, Rock and Roll Express, the Fantastic should be in the NWA Hall of Fame. Absolutely. None of them are. We'll talk about that. But for this pay-per-view, Mike says, I'm not sold on this pay-per-view. Sorry. They're making this sound an incredible fairy tale, but it's going to be a pipe dream. It will not even remotely resemble, in my view, the old JCP style of NWA, not ECW. I just saying the day before the show, he said to me like a week ago, you caught the bug, you're going to these shows, because I was super excited. But when I found out that this was probably going to be a gimmick pay-per-view around hardcore, I lost interest pretty quick. Cleveland's drivable for me, but I don't care about tables matches. I don't like, I lost Jeremy. I don't like going, the furniture is special when it's used correctly, Dave, but I mean, I'm not big on thumbtacks, and I don't think they're going to do, maybe they'll do light bulbs. I don't know. But all of that stuff is just junk to me. You got any thoughts on hardcore versus the regular stuff? Which one do you like better?
Well, I mean, I grew up watching late at night or early in the morning, depending on how you look at it, on I think it was the YES network out of New York on our satellite, watching ECW. And the thing is, while ECW, a lot of people are like, oh, it's blood and guts and gore, it was up to a certain point. They still had some very good wrestling matches, but when people started feeding into the hardcore tables and Sabu and RVD and that kind of stuff, that's what they were known for. I'm hoping this is more of a not so much hardcore style, but just a rough and tumble match, that it's like 2 out of 3 falls or first blood match or something to that effect, where they have not so much of the gimmicks, but if they have like a 2 out of 3 falls, that there's certain, okay, first blood match, something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's gimmicky, but it doesn't take it over the line. It's still basically, it's not hardcore, but it's just smash mouth. That it's not the high flying stuff. It's let's just ground and pound and beat the hell out of each other, and may the best person win.
Yeah, if it's, I 100% agree. If it's that, I'm interested. I'll throw down and buy a ticket beside you. But yeah, I mean, as long as we don't get the Triple Tower of Terror or whatever Abby was electrocuted in that time, I'm good. Devin Dowling said, I didn't like the intro talking about power. Them being quiet, the audience, before they come through is kind of a letdown. I see your point about making it more important when we see Kyle, though. And to that point, Mike says it's like a video game. It really is. But over time, it'll be bleh. All the wrestlers come down to the ring different every time. It's going to show up with the same pre-recorded entrance. Yeah, I know the video games, like, they'll show your guy on the ramp, and maybe there'll be some yay, boo, or whatever. And then you go to the game, and it's a completely different atmosphere. It feels like that when I'm watching Power right now.
I mean, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. You're not going to satisfy everybody all of the time. I understand what they're doing, but to me, I'd rather they just get to the match. That they show, hey, up next it's wrestler A versus wrestler B. Then when they come back, because they very rarely go back-to-back matches, they'll have either an interview or they'll have a short 15-second commercial. But as soon as they get back into the action, I just already have them in the ring.
Yeah.
Save them and just get right to the action.
Yeah. I think our entrances are important. This may sound a bit weird if both parties are getting them.
Yeah.
If you introduce just one like they've been doing, that guy's going over. If the other person in there is some guy like we saw yesterday, I honestly forget his name, double-barreled Boz or something like that.
Yeah.
That guy's not winning. Like, there's no 1, 2, 3 kid upset happening tonight. No, that's just the impression I get right out of the back. Eric Dale's enjoying the new format. The new era is a little more polished. I like it too. And we can't expect it to be perfect and have everything we like right off the first time they do it. I think the camera angles are great. I don't know if you guys have noticed this one or not yet. And I'm not a camera guy or a technology guy for that matter. But there is one from below the ring looking up, like a shoulder cam is looking up through the bottom rope almost, where when someone's in the corner and getting, maybe getting hammered with forearms or something, and it looks great. It's not just the same old still cam. It's not a guy on the opposite turnbuckle, showing you what's happening, right? And I love that overhead cam that they're using right now. It reminds me of football and hockey. I think those are great.
Yeah.
So, like if it gets some eyeballs, Jeremy, I hope you're not lagging anymore. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you guys good.
Yeah, great. If it gets some eyeballs on the NWA and it ends up with stars being looked at, like we'll talk about now, it's a good thing, right? Like you've got to take this production step in order to be interested in, like, have people interested in investing in you and bringing you into, their living rooms.
Yeah.
It's so like we've got out of this. It's funny because it's just happening now. We've just had this change, and if there's more eyeballs, we've got a couple of stars guys who are getting looks at the WWE.
Yeah.
We got Maddie. Maddie's getting a look. What have you heard about that? Is she going to the Performance Center?
I believe she's part of a group of about, I believe, 10 or 12 people that are coming in. They're working out. I'm not sure how the WWE does their things, but Maddie is one of those that she's been wrestling for a few years, but she's not brand new. You don't have to teach her the basics. She'll have to adjust if she does go to the WWE. She'll have to adjust, but I mean, she's one of those girls that I think just has it. She can talk, she can wrestle, she sells real well, and she's not a young woman, but in the time that she has wrestled, she's made it matter. And if she can move on, more power to her.
Yeah, I agree. She's been around for a little while. It's been a couple of years now, maybe, since she dropped the Renkowski from her last name, which I always thought was a great last name.
Yeah.
I always looked at the one name WWE divas back in the day and just thought, it's stupid. Like, have a last name. But anyway, she has a great one. So maybe she'll get it back up in the E if she ends up there. But good luck to her. Jeremy, you got Jamie Stanley with a WWE tryout.
That that one right there. Is he trying out for wrestling? Are they going to bring him in as a manager?
You can do both.
Right. Well, we know with Thunder Rosa that whenever they brought her in, they wanted her to do a referee. They wanted her to be a referee, not a wrestler. They felt that she was too old to be a wrestler. They wanted her to referee. So I think it would be, unless he's just not wanting to wrestle at the moment, I think it would be a loss if they just bring him in as a manager.
Yeah, he's got so much to give. Like, we saw him at Boca Raton, and
Yeah.
he got in the ring with their champ. He looked good.
Yeah.
Retro's here. He says they're wasting him in the NWA right now. I don't know. Maybe he's injured. Maybe that's his choice. But I hear what you're saying at the core. Maddie deserves a look, says Chris. She worked AEW Dark too. So
yeah, and Maddie can go.
Yeah, Eric Dale. Just back to Power for a second. My only suggestion would be to put the studio audience on risers or bleachers. The second, third, fourth, or more rows get a better view, and the crowd looks better on camera. Yeah, and yeah, go ahead.
I agree.
Shifting the camera a little more too. Like, I don't know that room, but if you can set it up to where I can see the crowd much more often than I am right now, that means something to me as a viewer. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird to hear them, but you can't see them.
It's like canned laughter, right?
Right.
Studio audience that you never see. You just hear them.
That's right. Yeah. Well, go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say, I haven't checked to see how long Jamie Stanley has been wrestling, but the guy can talk. He can go in the ring when needed. It's one of these things that I follow WWE up to a certain point, but I'm not just I can't I don't have to watch them all the time. That
Right.
I'll hear of a good match and I'll go back and watch it. But Jamie Stanley is one of these guys. If he has it, that's cool. But what NXT does is get people ready for the next step.
Right.
It's one of these things of he may not be one of these people that goes to the WWE but stays in NXT, that if he's a good worker, that he makes the other people look good in the ring. He can talk. He has a very good physique for a wrestler. He looks like what the WWE wants in a wrestler.
Right.
He has the brashness. He can go with just about any type of wrestler. So it's one of those things of I'm not sure age-wise where he is, but if he's been wrestling a while, he can help those that are younger and just getting started look better in the ring, whether he's winning a match or taking a loss. That back in the day, you had the quote unquote jobbers that would make the quote unquote better wrestlers look even better.
Right.
That if you saw what Lex Luger was wrestling when he first started, and then him against some of the quote unquote jobbers, these jobbers were champions in smaller territories.
Sure.
But when they got moved up, you have to put the shine on the people, whether they're good or not, if you've already invested in them. So I could see Jamie Stanley going either way, that if they can put a polish on him and have him work with some of these younger wrestlers, he's been wrestling for quite a while, I believe.
Right.
So it's just Maddie, I'm all for it. If she moves on, thumbs up. Same thing with Jamie Stanley. Anybody that can move up from the NWA is good, and anybody that we can bring in that has worked WWE style, they already know about TV tapings and how to react to the camera. So it's a win-win situation for just about anybody, whether they're coming or going.
It's true. Mike says, yes, Scooby. Mike Sharp was champ in other promotions. Once he went to the WWF, he was with Morocco as a tag team, and then they made him an enhancement. He was the best enhancement talent, I'll tell you. He lived in Hamilton, not far from like the city over, kind of from where I grew up in Toronto. He actually died there too with next to nothing. Sad story, but I love that guy. He not only physically was so impressive just to like see from ringside. The noises he made in the ring were hilarious. So I don't know if you guys remember Iron Mike, but yeah, anyway, he used to be like, whoa, he'd make noises like that the whole time when he had somebody. Mike loved that guy. Lots of comments to get to, but before we get back to it, does Colby go back to WWE, Jeremy? What do you think? If they're looking at guys again now that the merger is over, everything is clearing up, do you think Colby gets another look?
I mean, he should. He definitely should. But this is the WWE, and it's now TKO as well. So I would love to see him go there to hit the next level. But at the same instance, I'm happy to have him in the NWA right now as our World Junior Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, I mean, we say this with love and respect to the level of baseball league, I think that we were compared to. We were AAA ball, seeing guys going up, seeing guys coming down, and wishing them the best either way, right?
Yep.
So I wish Colby, and if he goes back, and obviously Maddie and Jamie Stanley, who, if you follow on social media, looks, Dave, you had a point about he's the kind of look, the kind of talker that they look for. He's also like behind the scenes on social media. He also looks like he's on super solid ground. Like he's a family guy. These are my kids, daddy is America's jawline, and he melts when he's holding his kid. It's great. So it sounds like he's really got his head screwed on right as well. So I think they'll look for that as well. I'm going to go up to some of these stuff here. Willie wants to know, who's the next contender for Silas Mason's NWA National Heavyweight Championship? Well, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think that was settled at 75 when Jordan Clearwater won that Battle Royal, right?
Yes.
So I think it's Clearwater who gets that shot right now, Willie, at Silas Mason. It's so funny, Dave. I know DOG's in the background, and like you go on mute, and then you're like,
yeah.
It's all good. It's not that bad. What were we saying here? There's a fatal 4-way number one contenders match. That is true. I'd forgotten completely about that as well. But I thought that Clearwater won that shot of the national title. Mims had a promo about it last night. That's right. He was great too. I thought, well, he's improved a lot.
A ton. I was blown away by how much better he was on the mic this time around than the last few times that we had gotten him on the mic. I think that time that he spent with Dak Draper and the tag team, that worked out great for him, I feel. But he was on fire.
Right. Even if it was like, all right, take 5, let's do it again, then that would be somebody of, experience saying, why don't we try this? So either way, it's an improvement, I would think, Dave. Oh. Somebody's stealing Jeremy's car. Yeah, he was great. Yeah, Mike was saying for Iron Mike, when they found out he passed, we didn't know. We didn't know. We'd been looking for him for years and found out in a news clip. Yeah, very sad. I don't think he was even walking anymore at the time. He had some bad illnesses. Iron Mike Sharp and ended up with, basically in Hamilton's version of a tenement building, is my understanding. But yeah, he was a big part of my childhood at Maple Leaf Gardens, and much love to that guy. Steve G is here. He says, I think that's why Colby's defending so much. He's got a limited time before he's signed. We've been talking about that on the side. Maybe if Colby's going to head back to the Performance Center or along those routes somewhere, maybe he ends up dropping to Alonzo, which I presume he would face at Salwin, Dave.
Yeah. A lot of the matches depend on, I think, what happens with the talent going forward. That I could see Colby moving on. It was great to have him back, but it's a new thing. The WWE is always having classes come in, and they pick and choose who goes. Now that they are able to take people again, as much as I like Colby in the NWA, if he's going to make it in the WWE, that'd be a great thing, being that his father was never really given a chance. And I think it would, I really don't know about their relationship, but I know it had been strained in the past. But I'm hoping that if they're able to work together, at least for the same company, that all wounds are healed by that happening.
I mean, I certainly am not privy to what goes on in their lives, but I know that they had worked together at, I want to say Coastal Championship Wrestling last year.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, where Colby was champ and defended the title against his dad, and Steve was doing promos for his son. Steve never had any, from what I've seen him say online, he never had any illusions about going to WWE either. He knew he was too small and not what they were looking for at the time.
Yeah.
Just a different cat altogether. Which is one of the reasons he's one of my favorite NWA World Champions. But that's neither here nor there. Steve G wants to know: do we know anything what's going on in the UWN? A little, probably more than we're going to say when we get to the UWN segment, I would guess, Jeremy.
Yeah.
A lot of it's speculation, and we don't want to hurt anything or say anything that we don't know anything about.
Yeah. I just keep your eyes open, social media and the product itself, and we'll find out more in the days and weeks to come. But at the moment, I don't have anything that I can spill the beans about now.
Lou's here. I got to split a bottle of scotch with this guy next time I see him.
Split a bottle of
Yeah, well, other people can join in, but
I'm gonna go outside and smoke a joint with this guy. I'm gonna split a bottle with him.
That's great. J Cal says cream rises to the top. Everyone who gets signed creates a spot for someone else. I want everyone signed and making a fortune. Exactly, buddy. That's exactly
1,000%.
it. He also said, Clearwater got his shot at 75 because we weren't paying attention. And then Mims was talking about the TV title last night. Right.
Yeah.
Right on both counts. So there you go. What else we got to talk about here? Jay talked about this briefly yesterday. And then it was a matter of, it kind of was just happening at the time, and it's sort of just kind of happening now. But there was a tweet that Jay captured in case it gets pulled down. That EC3 is on this this tour here. I actually have an overlay that I just saw online. There you go. That's as close as I can get to the Overman World Title World Tour. He's taking it everywhere. And
because he's over, man.
Yeah. Look, I like EC3. That's the worst tagline.
Horrible.
But anyway, and Jay was correctly giddy last night, I think, about how he's going to have more or title defenses than Tyrus inside a month or two than Tyrus did his entire reign. How we judge our world champion around here is, he takes the title on the road, he defends it all over, and he spreads the name. He spreads the product. And the tweet that Jay captured was, due to circumstances beyond our control, this was the promotion he was going to, one of them, EC3 will no longer be appearing next Saturday night in Erie. The NWA pulled him off the event to take part in filming for a Netflix project. EC3 tried everything he could to make it work, but scheduling-wise, he just can't make it happen. So, also to quote the boss, let's pump the brakes a little bit. It's not the NWA saying anything about it. It's the independent promotion he was going to.
Mm-hmm.
Have 10 pounds of gold, will travel. But that, that's something that we can actually speculate on. So there's a big announcement about the future of wrestling in Cleveland, I think is how WPC put it a while ago, at Exodus Pro, right? In Cleveland, Dave, which is Solwyn.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts?
I'm just hoping, I guess like the second or third week of October, Billy will be there. They're having tryout, and he'll be looking over some of the talent. They're going to be having a seminar there with NWA talent and other talent. I'm just hoping that the NWA is able to grow, that if they're able to get quote unquote territories, but a new era territory where it's not a standalone, that
Right.
that NWA talent is able to come in, defend their titles. You have Knoxville with Joe Kazana. You have Boca Raton. Hopefully, you have Cleveland. If they can get one more, they can basically bounce around and use those wrestling organizations to either defend titles, get new talent, run some tapings there. It all depends on what Billy's wanting to do with the NWA. His NWA is not a governing body, but if he's able to have 3 to 4 good quote unquote territorial systems in place where they can defend titles, keep storylines going, they don't always have to just depend on the tapings and a pay-per-view every 2 months. With 3 to 4, if they run once or twice a month, depending on where they are, you can have a lot of good quality matches with NWA talent and just move on from there. That if you can have people visible on TV or on YouTube, have them visible, all it does is increase people's interest, hopefully, in seeing what happens next.
I agree. It would be interesting to kind of tie it into the UWN for Steve G. He says they're no longer on X. It's not correct. I'm looking at them right now. They're at United Wrestling on X, which I still call Twitter. But there have been no tweets since August 27th. I checked that earlier. That's the last time they've tweeted, which I think is equally as significant.
Yeah.
I think it says something. I also listen. You know what? I think another reason not to speculate is that the alliance, Jay specifically, who's out there right now, is friends with Dave Marquez, and maybe he can reach out and see what Dave has to say. And Dave has certainly been a friend to Jay, and obviously supported the alliance for many years. So probably best that we don't speculate on a product that that we know and love.
Yeah, and you can also follow Dave on Facebook as well. He's pretty active on there.
He had a post on Facebook, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll jump in the gun and what was I saying? But I mean, if it's true that the NWA said, we need him for some Netflix thing, then maybe it's a reality show. We've heard them talk about that in the background. Maybe it's got something to do with Wrestlers, which is now on Netflix from OVW. I just started watching it. Watched one episode so far.
I've watched all 7, and it's a great watch, and I could see it easily going from one promotion to the next.
Yeah, there's a football one. There's quarterbacks, and there was another one that followed teams.
Hard Knocks.
Yeah. Where they just team to team to team, and if it's your kind of product, then you get something new out of it every time. But yeah, they're there on Twitter, Steve. So maybe we'll ask Jay to inquire politely to Mr. Marquez, and whatever it is that's going on, we wish nothing but the best to him and his product. But I'm really excited to see, to hear what this plan might be in Cleveland at Sawin. If there is something Netflix, is it a streaming show of their own? Is it something else? Whatever it's going to be, it's only going to be a step up at this point for the National Wrestling Alliance. One more step up that particular stair, and I think it's exciting in the face of the new presentation, the new area that we've got today.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really have too many matches set for Sawin. I have trouble saying Sawin. But we do have, I thought I had uploaded it and I didn't. How about that? We do have one match that was set for it, which Dave is Ruthie J versus Kenzie Page for the Women's World Championship. What do you think of that match?
I'm glad Ruthie is getting a chance. Me personally, I think it's a little too early, but she's almost like another Kenzie. Hold on.
Yeah, no worries.
She's almost like another Kenzie. She's young, starting off, and I'm hoping they just run with her and build her up. That
Right.
she's a good wrestler. I'd like to see her bulk up just a bit, so it's more believable. But with the size of the women that they have wrestling now, I think it's an okay situation that she's in. It's just it's going to be a lot of repetition for her to build her up. But if they feel they want to give her a shot at the Burke this early, hey, more power to them.
She seems like with the limited time she's got in, and I'm really impressed with Ruthie J. But she seems to me, Jeremy, like, now'd be a good time for a TV title shot.
Yeah. I agree with that. In the same instance, you want a competitor for your champion at your next pay-per-view, and this Ruthie J's a good pick for that. She can go in the ring. She's more than capable. Has a great look. She can talk. It's a fresh talent, not fresh off the vine, but we haven't got to see her a whole heck of a lot in the NWA. So
Sure.
I think it'll be a good matchup of styles, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it's the only match I believe so far that's officially listed for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So we've heard some talk about a tables match for tag team, but we don't know anything yet. But it'll be interesting. We'll see what kind of pay-per-view, to Dave's earlier point, this turns out to be. And is it going to be Ruthie J versus Kenzie and, I don't know, a barbed wire death match? Or is this going to be it's the most violent pay-per-view in NWA history. I mean, I 1985, Tully Blanchard and Magnum TA drove a chair leg into his head. Like, if it's going to be that, I don't know, guys. But we'll see. I want to kind of change pace for a minute and talk about this right here. Our friend Jaden put up a match in the Discord. I'm going to put this up here for a second. Actually, I will pull down the comment bar first, just for a second. I've lost the comments, or not the comments, the banners. Here we go. He put up a match in the Alliance Discord, which was Adam Pearce versus the Stro, and they'd fought a few times. And the Maestro, or the Stro, was someone that I never saw back in the day before it was kind of over, and I started going back and watching things online when the internet became more prevailing. But he was someone who was always in magazines and just a big like an interesting character that you could see was on the rise and was getting himself NWA World's title, World's Championship title matches, and ended up making a name for himself around the National Wrestling Alliance. Are you guys familiar with the Stro, Dave? Do you have good memories here?
I'm familiar with the Maestro from WCW, where his gimmick was almost like a Liberace / Gorgeous George.
Yeah.
You don't touch my hair. Don't do this. Real flamboyant, but he could wrestle. He was a very good mat technician, but was always, oh, don't touch me, and then would run away. And while the referee's doing something, would do the underhanded tactics,
Right.
poke the eyes, whatever.
Come to the eye.
Yep. Yeah. But it's one of these things of it was almost I guess throwback to the Gorgeous George type, where WCW had all different types of wrestlers. So what I saw, the man could wrestle, but was never really given a chance with the gimmick, and there being so many wrestlers in WCW. For the time he wrestled there, I enjoyed it. I'm going to definitely go and check out some of the matches that come after the one that Jaden posted on YouTube. And I mean, it's one of these things. If you're able to donate to this cause, do so. If not, at least share so other people can see what's happening. And if they're able to donate, you're doing your part by passing along the info.
So this is him recently, and one of his friends had put up an update. He's facing numerous health challenges and a substantial road to rehab, and he's currently homeless. He's in a shelter in Texas, hoping to move into a home until a halfway house until he can financially support himself again. And it's about recovery. And it's been, as they say, the process economically burdensome. Thoughts and prayers are great, but a few dollars, if you have them, would be great. And they do have the GoFundMe campaign. I did put it up into the chat room on YouTube earlier today, unless it magically has gone away like they do sometimes. But that's it right there. Like for me, he was the Stro, and I knew he was Gorgeous George III on the Indies. That's hilarious. And the WCW version, I don't know if he had the TV title. Do you remember him with that, Jeremy?
I don't remember if he had it or not, but like Dave, WCW's where I remember him from. And he had a great. He looked the part. He had the blonde hair, good size, great wrestler, great technician in the ring. But like Dave said, I don't think he just didn't get enough time with the gimmick and stuff. And there were so many wrestlers in the WCW pool at that time. He just ended up getting overshadowed.
Well, we wish him the best now. As I say, if you feel so inclined and you're able to do so, maybe a few charitable bucks his way for all of the entertainment that he's given us over the years. GoFundMe is very legit. So, I mean, hey,
Yeah.
we put it in the chat. I put it up in there again. And my thanks to Jaden, too, from the Alliance guys for, making me aware of that one and putting that in the Discord, too, so we can share it with you guys. Mike said he was a good fundamental wrestler since his Smoky Mountain and USWA days as Robbie Eagle. Cool. Helped train a lot who entered the NWA later in years. Yeah. So, and for Mike, it was USWA with Stro. So So there it is, guys. Maybe we'll do that again next week and leave it with you after that. In the meantime, Willie wants to know, do we still have an affiliation with Mission Pro? I don't think so.
I do not believe so. No.
No. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I think once Thunder Rosa left, that kind of diminished in a way. Although anything's possible in the NWA moving forward, right?
Yeah, it's wrestling.
There you
Anything's possible in wrestling.
All
The
right.
Young Bucks are on top, so
I don't hate the Young Bucks. I've never watched an AEW show, but I don't hate the Young Bucks. It just,
I don't mean to hate to pinpoint them specifically. It was just the first heat grabber name that came to mind.
I'm starting a rumor that Jim Cornette's your dad.
Okay, he's born the day out. His birthday is September the 17th, and mine is the 16th.
Oh, so that must be it then.
That's it.
Okay, look, you guys saw the video at the top of the show. This is, I don't know why, but this has become a big thing with me. I'm not going to play it again or anything, but I want to talk to you guys about the petition to restore to prominence the NWA Hall of Fame. I opened up it on change.org, which I'm told is a little bit annoying for a petition for everyone to sign. It's got a few signatures already, but you only have to do it once. You don't have to give them any money. It's nothing like that. All I'm saying for the Hall of Fame is in that video is that it used to exist. It started in 2005. It ran to about 2017, where I'm told in the later years it was run by some of the fans. I listed a bunch of greats who were in there, and we've talked as we started this show about some of the greats who just ain't. They ain't there, boys.
Yep.
And this is the company that, good on them, stands for tradition and legacy and history. And, we know that Mr. Corgan holds himself as the bannerman for this company, and that's what he believes, and that's what he wants to bring us. And so in a very friendly, very supportive way, and I really got to stress that as we move forward together in a campaign, I hope you guys will sign the petition. When you see me tweeting stuff online or putting up a post on Instagram or Facebook, I hope you repost it. And that you ask in your own way to the National Wrestling Alliance and to Billy Corgan to restore the NWA Hall of Fame to prominence. Now, what I mean by that is, as of 2017 until today, there have been no inductees into the NWA Hall of Fame. I'm sure there's great reasons for that. Period of flux, the plan that we've heard about having to get rolling, probably a lot of things to do and not enough hands to do them in. But we just finished NWA 75, and the biggest complaint that one of them that from down there that I remember is that, where are the legends? This is the perfect year for the legends, and I learned myself some reasons about maybe why that might not be, and what the support for that might be at a venue level, but it doesn't mean that a hall can't exist. So what I'm asking you guys to do is to go to this this place down here, sign the petition, please. If you want to see some of these legends in the NWA Hall of Fame, just to restore it. I've heard people ask me, how would it work? Who would be the voting block? What's all of that stuff right now is secondary to me, and I would love to have that discussion if the Hall of Fame is ever restored. But I think it's important that for us as the fans, the cheerleaders, the supporters of the National Wrestling Alliance that we have come to know and love, that we urge them, we cheer them on to putting the Hall of Fame back together so that we can honor some of the greatest names of yesteryear again. There's so many names we want to see in there. I'll be posting about them for the next 6 months if need be, longer if need be. And I hope that you join me in doing that. I'll stop talking other than to reiterate one last time. This is a friendly campaign. This is we really want to see you guys do this. We're seeing this new era. We're seeing a new direction. We're seeing new arrangements and affiliations with independents and new characters and all kinds of new things. It's a whole new day. Let's bring back the Hall of Fame and capture the legends while they're still with us and honor them. That's my spiel. Hey, Jimmy Cornette could be your gimmick. Jeremy Cornette. There you go. You know how to play tennis, Jeremy?
No, but I know how to swing a racket.
That's almost better.
I don't think Corny knew how to play tennis either. He could just swing that racket.
That's true. Retro says I would travel to see an NWA Hall of Fame, and I don't even think we're talking about a brick and mortar building. There's never been one, as far as I know, for the NWA. You know, a lot of people are look at the WWE as the Hall of Fame now, or the Tragos Thez Hall of Fame, or any one of the other ones. The one that used to be in Schenectady, New York, is now down in underwater somewhere. Last time I remember, in Texas. There's a bunch of them, but the NWA has one on paper, and I think that's enough for once a year. Bring in some of these legends. Thank you for all of the wonderful memories that you've given us, so we can just stand there and cheer and make these guys know how much that we've appreciated them. It's win-win for everybody.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I nominate Puyo Del Mar as one of the board members that oversees who gets inducted and stuff. Great encyclopedic almost knowledge of old wrestling. So yeah.
I would certainly support the appointment of the manager of champions, the champion of managers, the drag queen extraordinaire, the political activist, the PWI columnist, and contributor, the multiple QWI award winner, the sensational one, him or herself.
Hot damn, that was awesome.
I don't know why. I've heard the Pope's podcast so many times. But also I keep notes. So maybe the lady wrestlers could be from contenders for the NWA Women's Title and Tag Team Championship. I think we missed from where? From WOW, maybe something like that. Might be what you meant there. That could be great. There you go.
Yeah, WOW.
Has got it. Yeah, WOW. Yeah, that'd be a great relationship.
Why not?
Yeah. So thanks for putting up with that. Thanks for putting up with me in the future until we get some kind of, response from the NWA. And they're not holding out on me, guys. They're not not answering. We just started today. I'm not here to attack them. I want to make that clear for the third time. I'm here to let's help lead the charge through the alliance and make this stuff happen. I'm going to move on. Hey, listen, while I take a drink and we set up for the wonderful championship wrestling for Jeremy, please follow our friend Rick Del Santo over at PWZ, where lots of new things are happening.
PWZ Podcast with Rick Del Santo. For all your wrestling reviews, interviews, and news, Rick covers the United Wrestling Network, the NWA, and the Northeast region of the United States Independency. PWZ keeps you in the zone.
Reminds me, guys, we got to record a commercial for Rick so he can play ours over there. It's only been a year I've had that thing. I don't know what this is for, but it's whiskey, my friend. Bourbon's fine, but talk to your man Lou. Lou knows his shit.
What's the difference between whiskey and bourbon? Where it was made, Kentucky or not?
If I understand, well, partly, but one's corn mash and the other is, I guess, potatoes. I'm not entirely sure.
I thought
But
vodka
German's
was
corn.
taters.
Oh, what's that? The and he's asking for the for Rick's thing. There it is. YouTube.com/@PWZ Network. Rick's also online, like he's got his own website, all kinds of great stuff, but that's the one that fits best here. Rick has a different conversation every week, it seems like, with somebody else. But let's move on. Let's go to that UWN and talk with Jeremy in a segment we call Championship Wrestling from Jeremy.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
The following is a presentation of the United Wrestling Network.
It's time for Championship Wrestling from Jeremy.
I love that name, and I'm not going to be there. You're going to be there. There you go. Jeremy, the United Wrestling Network, we've talked about it probably as much as we're going to talk about it. It seems a bit weird. Just to recap for anyone who's joined a little later, there hasn't been any tweets in September that we can see. There's been some crowdfunding posts by Dave Marquez. You alluded to one on Facebook. He put something about advertisers and how something's gonna happen. But the boss has said, listen, things are changing, and that's all that we can say. So I guess we're gonna leave it at that and maybe talk about the the best of the UWN this week.
Yes, we shall talk about the best of and the not so good of the UWN this week. We'll start out with the not so good. Just go ahead and rip that Band-Aid off right away. With Memphis, they've got a grinding problem. Dog.
Yeah.
I've thought of many ways to try and put this, and the best that I can come up with is it's flaming hot garbage. I know that he was one of the guys back in the day, and his Too Cool 2 tag team partner, him and Flex were over big in Memphis. It's time to realize that you were over then. It's done now.
I think Demonetized Mike said it best when he said, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Tell us why. Tell us why. What was so bad about it?
So do you guys remember when American Idol first came out? Randy Jackson was on there, and everyone was his dog.
Yo, dog.
Yo, dog. What's up, dog? That was really good, dog.
Scooby's a dog.
Scooby's a freaking genius. Okay. Tim Grind, on the other hand, no. It was a little of him goes a very long way, at least for me. And he's past his expiration date with me. His son has fake getting kidnapped and then joined up with the posse. They have beat his ass in the middle of the ring. Now he went and got his buddy. If I wanted to watch the Power Rangers, I'd watch the freaking Power Rangers. I want to watch Memphis wrestling, not a guy that's my age at 46. You're coming out there and you're saying the stuff that was cool when you were 26, bro. It's time to move past all of that.
Yeah.
Let your son shine in the spotlight. That's what this all started off with, was wanting Lance Grind to get into the business. Well, he's in there now, and while he is with the posse, they're a formidable tag team, and in Memphis wrestling, and they're top guys in Memphis. So I think he's in a pretty good place right now. It's time
What
for
are their
Dan to go
names
sit
again,
back.
Jeremy?
The Posse.
No. What are the two guys' names who make up the posse?
Oh, Little Chris and Simon.
Yeah. It's
Isn't
not Hawk
that
and
it?
Animal. It's not Axe and
No,
Smash. It's Chris and
no.
Simon.
It's Chris and Simon. You know, but again, they're top guys in Memphis. So
They
you
are.
know,
Yeah.
like I said, his son's in good hands with top guys. You know, heels, faces, whatever they may be, they're top guys. So he's in good hands right now. Dad needs to go back and sit in the recliner now.
Right.
Get mad, Jeremy. It's okay. Oh, no, it says me mad. No. Just being passionate about what I don't care for.
Right.
That takes us to the good of this week in Derby City Wrestling. We got a 2-on-1 handicap match with Lord Crew versus Ted McNaller and Dustin Jackson. Never heard of these guys. Probably will never see them again because he absolutely decimated them.
He looked great doing it. Yeah.
Looked fantastic, like $1 million. Got a little bit of mic time before the match started. Sounded great. The man is firing on all cylinders. I think each guy got in 2, maybe 3 little things of offense, and even then it was more defensive than offensive. This was a fun match. While he's not a 7-foot, 350-pound giant, Lord Crew is still a very, very big man, and this was a perfect way to set him up as the monster heel in Derby City moving forward.
100%.
We got to see him. He's teamed up with Aaron Williams, the Clockwork Orange guy.
Yep.
And I dig that pairing. It goes really good together. I can't wait to see how this matures and plays out over time with Lord Crew and what Dave has in store for him. Again, I was completely blown away by the match. It was almost a blink and you miss it, but really fun. A good solid squash match. Went down exactly the way it should. If you're not watching the product, fuck you.
Just there's no nuance this week. No nuance. Just, right here, buddy. Boop, boop.
Subtleties out the window.
Hey, listen, Lord Crew, good timing for him too, especially if you're an NWA fan.
Yeah.
We've been hoping that he's coming here, but the closest we're going to get, this is a 30-second promo that Jay played last night, where he's going to be facing EC3 for the World's Championship. Take a look at this.
They say that it takes years to become an overnight success. EC3, you have had a long, successful career full of accolades that most men dream of. And just how you called your shot for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship on September the 23rd, Lord Crew is calling his. And if I have anything to say about it, your title run is over, man.
Love it. Love it.
Love it.
With Cincinnati in the backdrop, that man is a beast.
Yeah, man. He's been high in the UWN and low in the UWN over the years. He's been around a while, and I should be a good fight.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate it. Let me go back to this here. Willie is on about the Hall of Fame. You got Terry Gordy, Steve Williams, Mr. Wrestling 2, Dino Bravo, Ricky Steamboat, Jay Youngblood, Barry Windham, Dusty Rhodes, Sting, Lex Luger, the Steiner Brothers, Chronic. You can't have Chronic. You can't have Chronic.
Wow.
You
Hey,
had me up until Chronic.
I loved Chronic.
Did you? Well, we know that.
Yeah. Were they good? God, no. But were they awesome? Yes. They looked like complete badasses. The music was right for them. They just sucked in the ring.
Yeah, they were terrible. That's the problem. Solely Ross and I think Caudle are all in the Hall of Fame. However, I don't think Tony Schiavone is.
Schiavone should be, though.
Yeah, he was good. He was one of my favorites. Mike Tenay and
I always enjoyed Schiavone.
Yeah. I am going to assume then, Willie, that when I go over to that petition, I'm going to see Willie Bowen has signed this petition. When I look later, I'm going to look. Willie.
Yep.
I gotta agree, Willie. I much prefer the Ultraman over Power Rangers. I've never been a Power Rangers fan, so.
You young guys, I don't even know what either of those. Oh, I know the Power Rangers by reputation. I got kids, but I never watch that stuff. Let's see here. Mike says Simon. Who freaking names himself Simon for the gimmick? The first name. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's not even like Big Simon or Sadistic Simon or something. I don't know. Ted McNailer is back in dirt. It's better than Simon. That's all I'm saying. I call Junior Shabadoo. It's better than Simon.
Junior Shabadoo.
Ted McNailer is back in Derby. Old OVW trained and seasoned. Good fundamental guy. Trained by Rip Rogers. That's impressive. Crew's good. Big moving man who mixes it all well. Yeah. How dare us? We swore, and we're worried about him. Yeah, we're worried about you. That's right. We can hold our tongues.
Speak for yourself.
There you go.
I just mute a lot.
That being said, let's take it home with the anchor of the show, our fantasy booker, Dave Scooby, in a segment we call I Respect You, Booker Man. Well, let's move you over here. Now you're in the spotlight. And lucky you. And Dave.
Yes.
Who's your pretty empowered face at NWA Sawin?
Pretty empowered versus the world.
Well, in my opinion, seeing what's happening now with Maddie getting at least a tryout with the WWE, if she does move on to greener pastures, finish up the story with M95, let them have their rematch. That solidifies Pretty Empowered's reign. If anything, if she does move on, do an injury angle to explain her not being there anymore. That way, Missa Kate can move on to either go after the TV title and Max, or build her up to go after the Burke. But for Sawin, if they don't go with M95, it's been just over a year, if not more, since we've seen the Hex as a tag team back in the NWA. The only reason I'd bring them back is it would solidify if they have a win over a former tag champions. This is Pretty Empowered's third reign, but it's the second reign of the new team with Kylie. The last time they won, it was Kenzie. So it's same team, different members. So if anything, this would give them, it would solidify their reign if they go after the Hex and win. Plus, I mean, the Hex, just the name, that sort of fits in with the spookiness of the upcoming Halloween pay-per-view.
It's a great point.
And I mean, it's one of those things right now. There are quite a few teams out there, but with this short of notice, we're going into the final quarter of 2023. So a lot of these wrestlers and tag teams, unless you've signed them during the summer, their card's pretty much filled. So it's one of those things. They're saying that there may not be a match. So who knows? That's up to the NWA. But I mean, if you have title holders, there's 8 titles in the NWA. So there should be at least 8 title matches, plus a couple matches for qualifying for something down the road or the next contender. That it's one of these things they need to build up. This is one of their one-day pay-per-views. So there should only be 10 to 12 matches, and probably 3 or 4 of those can be a pre-show match. So it's depending on how they decide to do things. But right now, I'd bring the Hex in. They have history, but it's been just over a year since they last faced Pretty Empowered. So let's solidify them. The Hex would not be losing any of their shine or any of their glory as former tag champs. They would just be helping the future of the tag champions and the future of the NWA by being in this match, in my opinion.
You know, Cleveland would pop and they'd give them a standing ovation when it was over.
Yep.
You know, they, like you say, they wouldn't lose anything. You know, I'm sitting here thinking, at first I thought, the Hex again. And then when you said, like, bring him in the spirit of this pay-per-view with their name and the whole bit and what they're, yeah, you're right. I think that's a perfect fit. You know, it would be great if for that night you had them, like, let me back it up here for a sec. Do you remember when Pretty Empowered came out on the stage, all 4 of them for that hardcore match? And they had like a pink chair and like, you know, a 2x4 and like a chain or whatever. It was a badass moment for, you know, for that team.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to, in the spirit of Halloween, it kind of sounds funny on the surface, but if you had like Marty Bell and Allison Kay doing a, you know, a bit like the Road Warriors, like if you put that makeup on the 2, I'm not saying their hairs, but if you put that makeup on them with the shoulder pads,
mm-hmm.
I'd buy a ticket to that, man. Like that'd be great. I think you've hit on something there.
And I mean, depending on what direction they want to go with that Samhain, if it's going to be quote unquote spooky or horror based, that doesn't mean it has to be hardcore, but they can still throw in a little here and there. It doesn't have to be blood. It doesn't have to be light tubes, light bulbs, any of that kind of stuff. But I mean, I'd even pop if they came out dressed as like the witches from Hocus Pocus.
Right. That'd be great.
There's certain things that would carry over. That, I mean, I'm talking about the tag teams now, but if you think about it, if Impact was able to be involved, that if we were able to get a few people from the Impact roster and have them come join in, what about, I mean, Rosemary? Jessica, they're a tag team, bring them in. Who knows, maybe have PCO show up. He's a living monster himself. It's just depending
Marking
on
out already.
go with it, and if they use the gimmicks correctly, that this is a spooky Halloween end of fall going into the wintertime type thing. Just use any and all gimmicks. It's a gimmick pay-per-view. That's what it is.
Right.
So I'd hate to go and do a duel of the butcher in the being electrocuted, but
yeah. And the witches, Hocus Pocus, right? I almost said the witches of Eastwick. No, Hocus Pocus. The hex with Pollo Del Mar, because I think there's 3 of them, aren't there?
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah, I get that. You're right on the money with the spirit, Dave. Which is why I think either Jay or Jeremy put this up. But with the push for Elias to NWA, I also need to push for Dave Scooby as head booker of the NWA. It's this guy right here, your biggest fan. That's awesome. I look forward as I keep wanting to say Sam Hain, Sawin comes closer, how we're going to end up booking this stuff, but that's pretty much it for the night. I do want to show you guys one thing though before we go, if you'll bear with me just for a moment. We met a guy who came into our Discord a while ago. We met him at 75. Never met the guy before. I met Lou there. I met Retro there, and we met this guy, which I call Fuzzy. And the thing I love about Fuzz, or John Ceramic, is his unabashed markdom for pro wrestling in the NWA.
Oh,
and
yeah.
His clarity to his authenticity, if I can be that dramatic about it, for what is just makes him happy. And he posted this up on the Discord, and I thought it was really a great way to go out tonight. He said, think about where we were 9 months ago, wishing for more or better promos, wishing for the NWA to be held up around the wrestling world, wanting fighting champions and a consistent look and feel to the branding, better production values at shows, the return of the podium, rivalries that make sense and make you want to bring popcorn. Very happy with the NWA overall now versus a year ago. And I could not agree more.
100%.
Yep. Thumbs up on that one.
100% thumbs up. And with that, I think that's it. I think it's time to go home, boys. So until next time, we'll see you at the matches.
Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Power. You can find us on social media at The Alliance Blog. And until next time, we are The Alliance.